I am the greatest. I said I was, even before I knew I was. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Stop jumping on the bed, my mom would often scream at me. See, I was only 8. But binging Muhammad Ali fights gave me the type of confidence that no child should ever have. I carried the bravado with me over the last 12 years while building brands at a marketing firm. See, while everyone else wanted to be like Madman's Don Draper, I picture myself in a completely different ring. See, every time I would get the responsibility to take care of someone's brand, I would step up and defend it like it was my heavyweight fight. This was the visual that would come to mind. Me taking the world down with a right hook swing and the world laying down at my feet in defeat. I'm sure many of us had this championship mentality on our best days. That feeling after overcoming whatever life threw your way and feeling like nothing could really slow you down, that everything that you were doing was just going your way. At least until we felt the complete opposite, especially over the last 3 years when the world pulled the plot twist of the century. See, the pandemic completely flipped the script and turned everything upside down, where it was more like the world was roaring down on us, and it was us knocked out, feeling completely helpless. It was like we were given tickets to ringside seats to a fight that no one wanted to see, and with no end in sight. And along the way, we started to realize that there is so much more happening in the world. You know, on the industry side, businesses were hosting emergency town hall meetings, laid off employees were nervously gathering their family members together around the living room. And on the other side, doctors that were preparing themselves to deliver some devastating news to those in the waiting room. And every single one of them found uttering the same 5 agonizing words. We might not make it. I guess you could say we were officially living in the dark ages. And how could you not feel that way? Every single time you open up your phone and take a look at the top trending hashtags, you see hashtags like hashtag survival, hashtag apocalypse, or the worst one, hashtag toilet paper panic. I wish I could tell you I was making that one up. We were really feeling the worst of it. And when all hope was lost, suddenly over the horizon, we started to witness the human spirit do something extraordinary. We started to see both businesses and communities speak a language that was universally understood. We started to see battle cries being shared that was trending across the globe. And we started to see that every single person was coming together, and instead of throwing in the towel, we decided to raise a new flag. It was a little flag that we know as resilience. Every single time that we've been in a position where a business was meant to to show up, or individuals were showing up at the same time, we've been seeing over and over again that the world was able to come together, and it was in those darkest nights that resilience is what brought us back to brighter days. And as everything started settling, and as the dust started to settle, the real eye-opener to me was how differently business were approaching their idea of resilience versus individuals like you and me. See, businesses were going about it a little bit different. They didn't see resilience as the idea of an emergency measure. Instead, they saw it as a strategic advantage. Businesses didn't see resilience as something that they needed to do based out of desperation. They saw it as an opportunity. And along the way, individuals started recapping and redefining what resilience was really about. And we started to see businesses go at it a little bit different. See, I found it a little bit unfair with my comparison to Muhammad Ali because I realized I was actually comparing myself to the final moment of his fight. When the truth is, it was probably the best example of resilience we've ever seen. See, when Muhammad Ali says, "I'm the greatest," it wasn't just bravado. He saw it as a true testament to who he was every single day that allowed him to truly become the championship of the world. Even when things were going well, even when he was at his absolute prime, Muhammad did not get comfortable. He did not take his foot off the gas. He continued adding new tricks to his bag of moves that really allowed him to stand out and be the championship of the world that he was. And no matter how good that he was, he didn't wait for things to go wrong. He constantly looked for opportunities to capitalize even when he had the upside. While personal resilience emphasized the need to stand up and bounce back in the face of adversity, brand resilience focused on pushing boundaries in times of prosperity. And we saw this over and over in action when you take a look at businesses like GoPro. GoPro was a market leader with surfer lovers around the world, but they decided to continue pushing their boundaries, and they pushed until they won over the hearts, the minds, and the wallets of videos and storytellers around the globe. It's easy to understand why companies like Tesla released the Cybertruck, even though they were the top selling electric vehicle company in the world. And I promise you, it wasn't because customers were demanding bulletproof tanks on their driveway. And it becomes easy to understand why Apple, even as the top selling smartphone in the world, continue innovating and producing devices like the iPhone X, which had features like facial recognition technology. Each of those leaders shared a single belief that we can all adopt in our everyday thinking and the way we handle personal resilience. It was the idea that you don't wait for your back to hit the canvas. You don't wait for things to go wrong. Instead, you're always proactively looking for ways to improve yourself and grow through every experience that you have, and along the way, capitalize on opportunities. It means that you don't wait for things to go back to normal. Instead, you're reinventing what normal meant. And it means that you're not waiting for the world to change because you're too busy changing yourself in this world. And I decided I didn't give Muhammad Ali enough credit because what I looked at was the final polished photo, when the truth is, the final polished photo is the one that makes the highlight reel. But it's those black and white, grainy, poorly quality photos in the back end that makes the highlight reel worth celebrating. And I realized I was also being unfair to the 8-year-old me who had it right the first time and actually deserved the reasons that he had the confidence that he did at that age. See, that 8-year-old me understood that resilience isn't a rare gift. It's not something that is reserved for a certain few. It is fully available for every single one of us every single day to apply into our lives, whether or not things are going bad or things are going well. And it's only when we embrace the idea of resilience and putting it with an optimism outlook for what we can achieve in our lives that we start to realize that it's not just about floating like butterflies or stinging like bees, but it's actually about soaring like eagles. Thank you very much.